geez, I hope I can get through this story. This is a long story. So this guy, he moves to New Orleans. His name is Joey. Joey Laban or something like that. However it's spelled. He lives on the outskirts. It's closer to modern day than the other one, as one might assume. He is a sheriff. He went to school. He went to every school to be a sheriff. He's well on his way to being a fine sheriff man. He's going to be a detective very soon because he has all the rights to it. He went to police academy. He went to sheriff college. He went to detective Serecta, and he went to Scobie, the MAC, which works with the armed forces in some way. So he's ready. He's raring at the bit to go. So he moves to New Orleans where he knows there's crime, and he says, I'm going to be the boss. So what he does is he sets up, he's got a little home, he runs a little debt, everything's fine. You know, exactly the regularest rap sheet you can imagine. Up until now, he's done pretty good. His parents helped put him through college. He's a very good boy. You understand? He carries a 9.8 Smith & Wesson dual action revolver most of the time. This comes up at least once. It shoots a 45-70. It is not a long barrel. It's like a 4-inch barrel. This is a very powerful handgun. And it has a snub nose for the usually very powerful round it shoots. This is a bad motherfucker. So he moves there. He usually carries the regular police issue 38, which is a Cobalt number 1 or 10 or however they see it. But sometimes he carries this instead, just so you know. So you figure out when it was, kind of. So he's going there. He goes into the police station. Everything's fine. He works a regular beat. It's called skeevy. This is kind of a drine. Basically, this is poorer Negroes. But this is kind of a good area. But there's theft and vandalism. So this is his beat. He does walk it. They give him a police bicycle. But he says, I cannot ride a bicycle and look serious as a policeman. I prefer not to. But he's supposed to make his rounds, and they are very long. He says, I can catch the fare between here and there in the city proper. And this is what he does, because this isn't really a part of his beat. It's in the center of his beat, because he does cross town, really. Everything's fine. He does it for 6 months, and then he stumbles across a stolen artifact intrinsic. Basically, he knows these guys are moving stolen artifacts. He cases it perfectly. He's never seen. He gets the group. They're going to roundhouse it. So I believe is how they used to put it. They're going to roundhouse him. They go there, and the place is spotless. He goes, damn it. We missed him. They're like, that's okay, son. We believe you. He goes, damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay. He waits. He's like, I'll catch him again. I know what they look like. So another 3 months passes. He got him on the other side of town. He's like, this time I'll be more careful. One of the police tipped him off. I have to figure out who. Now I know what's going on. So what he does is he collects his own friends from the area, because now he sort of has friends, and they go there and they do a roundhouse, and the place is not empty, it's full of artifacts. Now he contacts the police, and when they come, they say, how come you didn't contact us? He's like, I think there's a leak in the department, and that's how they got away last time. And they say, that's fine, son, but I am going to write you up for this. He's like, that's okay. That's okay. We got the stolen artifacts. He's like, this is from the Thames Archuary Republica. He's like, this is very rare. I know what this is. It turns out to not be a fake. Everyone said it's probably a fake. It's not. When it returned, he received a code-in, and they gave him the detective's position immediately. He was, quote unquote, not the youngest, but one of the youngest to ever be a detective. Quote unquote. You understand? It's at this point in time he doesn't have to do the beat anymore. But he's like, I wish I still did that beat sometimes because it was keeping me in shape, and now I'm getting kind of lazy. And, you know, people smoked in the era. Smoking too much and this and that. And then I have a highball because I think I'm a proud and all these things. He says, maybe I'll catch a couple beats or something because I feel lazy. So he does it. But he wears plain clothes because he can now because he's a detective. Before he had to wear the outfit. Do you understand? Which at the era was just kind of like a plain blue suit. You didn't even have to wear a badge because this is New Orleans. It's different. You understand? So he does it, and he stumbles across what he thinks is an Inviga, which is basically people smuggling. Okay? He can't figure out what it is. He says, I'm casing it for too long. How can I not know what they're up to? He knows these people are basically prisoners here. He's like, I have to know what it is. He's like, I'm going to sniff around a little extra. I'm going to call in somebody I know to sniff around too. So he calls in a guy from school. He's like, come here. I can't figure out what this is. I'm sure it's one of these things, the 6 E's, but I can't see it for nothing. He's like, it's in New Orleans? He's like, shit, I ain't coming out there. He's like, come on, I'm going to pay you a little bit. Come on, I got a little money now. I'm out of debt. He's like, you're out of debt? He's like, yeah, I'm out of debt. I'm already a detective. He's like, you know what, I will. I could use the extra money. And you can give me a good write-up? He's like, yeah. His friend comes down there. He does the sniffing around extra. They're both watching. He says, I think it's a people smuggler. He's like, that's what I think, but how does it work? He says, I don't know. I can't see it. There's no one to talk to that we don't see, that they see, that it's all inclusive. They have no flaw. Just like that, he realized it. No flaw is something they never see in police work. It defies police work. He goes, you're right. He's like, here's some money. Get out of town. You proved my point. And that's all you did. You know exactly where I am. I must be missing something. I'll figure it out and I'll call you back. Maybe I'll need you again. He's like, you do that. And he gave him $600, which is more than a policeman's salary for 8 months or something. He's like, this is too much. He's like, no, it's worth every penny. You just find out. He's like, get you one of these. And he showed him his gun. He's like, I ain't buying that, horse killer. You just wait. He says, you'll see what I get. So he went out and got him a Cobalt 27, which is like a 454, but it's, you know, a different type of pistol. It's got a really long barrel on it, you understand. This is for hunting wild geese or something. I couldn't explain it to you. But that's what it is. So what happens now is he decides to stop doing the beat. He makes a write-up of it, and he submits it to the court judge. He doesn't go around anybody, but he does do a maneuver. Do you understand? He kind of maneuvered the information a specific way. The court judge takes a look at it, and he calls him on his personal line. He says, explain this to me right now, because I know you can put it through a different way. Why did you go around? He says, I think there's a leak in the department. I can't see it right now. He's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand that. He's like, look, we got these all the time. We don't know what they were. There's tunnels under the city. Do you know about it? He's like, no, I had never heard of that. He's like, you been here this long? You never seen it? He's like, I've only been here like a year or so. He goes, okay, fine. I can't believe you haven't heard of it. You must be really busy. He's like, oh, hanging around will find you one in a couple of days, as far as I know. And he says, no, I haven't heard of it. I know there's a underground somewhere, but I don't know nothing about it. He's like, very good, very good. He's like, listen, we don't know. We just don't know. Keep a cap on it. If you can figure it out, even better. I'll help you with the trial and everything. We don't do the buddy system here. You understand? They do that a little north of here, but we don't do it here. We try to be very clean because there is a large Negro population. We must be the best. He says, I understand. He's like, okay, the Negroes have revolted before. We don't want them to revolt again. He's like, okay, fine. I see it. He's like, very good. So that's it. So what happens is he ignores it. He goes to this building and he realizes it's burned down. And then he realizes something. This was one of the things he was supposed to investigate when he came here, and the file never made it to his desk. This blue building burned down, and they wanted to know why it was burned down, how it got burned down. And so he says, where's the file for it? And he finds it eventually. It's stacked incorrectly in the wrong stack at the bottom of the stack. And he goes, well, it got buried. It's like there's something going on here. I'll figure it out eventually. Keep my nose clean, which isn't a style at the time word, but it's what I use. So what happens is he investigates it, and he finds out that there's records of the underground in it, and that's what the issue was. Somebody's trying to hide it. That's the assumption he comes to. And he goes, okay, I don't know what to do. He's like, this is what he files. This is how he files it. And he goes, this is why it burned down. When this goes across a different judge's desk, he goes, I agree with you. That's what it is. The fire department was supposed to handle this. And for some reason, the fire chief is no longer available. Could you please find out why? He's like, this is something else. He goes, this never made it to my desk, by the way. I want you to know it's stacked incorrectly in a pile. And there's no way for me to report that. He says, I understand something is going on there. I understand this is New Orleans after all. He's like, I understand. Very well. So he goes to see the fire chief, who is not there. Do you understand? So when he goes there, he says, now what? Nobody's answering the door. Eventually an old maid comes to the door. She is ancient, slow walking. It says, I can't believe you're still here. It took me 10 minutes to cross the home on this stupid ass large house, you understand? Come on in. She walks very slow, like she's got arthritis or whatever. He's like, yes, I'm looking for the police chief. Oh, he ain't here. He disappeared. A marvel. A marvel? He says, yes, it was a marvel. He disappeared. And he says, what do you mean? And he realizes she said something. He goes, what did she say? And he doesn't know what she said. He realized he hasn't been paying attention. Just like that, he goes, that's 2 times now. I really missed something. Boom, shot right through the skull like I don't know nothing. Maybe I am not a smart detective. Maybe I should have seen something already. And then he realizes something. The other guy didn't catch it either. He goes, something's wrong. He didn't see it either. He goes, okay. Just like that, he realized something. He goes, yes, I understand. You see a way. She's like, yes, I do. He's like, listen, anyone you can think of that might know where he was, where he is, what he's up to, you tell me right now, please. It takes her like 10 minutes, and she goes, or an hour, and she goes, these 3 people. And he goes and talks to them. They don't know nothing either. That's part of the story. So he's empty-handed. He writes the file up. He decides to not turn it in. He just puts it on his desk where anyone can see it, because he thinks there's a trick to it. It disappears from his desk, and he knows that that's what the issue is now. Somebody in the office sees the office a way we don't see it. And he goes, all right, something strange is going on here. So his next move is to write up a fake report, put the stamp on the back that says unfileable, but it's a secret stamp. Only detectives use. This is before IA, by the way. Anyways, so he puts that on the back there. Naturally it's a black light stamp or something like that. You understand, whatever they used in the era. And it's about a big house party that moves from place to place, and they can't quite figure out what it is or anything like that. It's a lie. It's a straight up lie. It disappears. Just like that, 3 homes burned down in the area, and they were known to host events. And he says, I appear to have made a mistake. The judge calls him at his home again. He goes, did you file this? He says, can I talk to you in private about it? I would really prefer that to being on the telephone. He's like, you may come here. I'll meet you out in my yard. I do have some dogs, and they are known to nip, but I'll make sure you stay unnipped. He goes, very well. So what he does is he goes there. This guy has like 6 Dobermans or something. They're like attack dogs. It's quite obvious. Do you understand? He lives inside of the city, kind of like the other house I was talking about. And this guy has a very big fence. Do you understand? He's like Mr. Burns. He's a judge, kind of. He's not like Mr. Burns, but you understand what we're dealing with here. The situation. It's not quite that grand of a temple. Anyway, so he talks to the guy out in his yard, and he's like, okay, you've proved your point. He's like, I'll look at the back of it. I do have one of those lights. So he looks at it, he goes, yes, this is fake. He's like, what is going on around here? And so he gets called to his home. He's like, you're on the clear, you're on the clear. I'm sorry, I overstepped my judicial gratitudes. Apologies, sir. And he goes, yes, apology accepted. There's nothing to see. He's like, very well, very well. He's like, please don't let this happen again. Just you stop my heart. He's like, very well, very well. I will try to do something more unique next time. He's like, please don't do it. He's like, this city is a horror. You must understand. We see it a way we see it, and many people see it a bad way that we don't see it because we see a good, Christian way. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but I am. He's like, yes, I understand. I seldom attend church. I was raised a bit different. He's like, that's fine, but you see a good way, and that's what's important. I see a good way too. He's like, anywho, what I have to say to you, he's like, I got a question before you continue. He's like, what about it? I don't like being interrupted, but what is it? He's like, I've heard that several times now, that the city's a whore. What is that pie? Is it lubidoozily or something? He's like, no, it just means Callispity. He says, I don't understand. He's like, this is an old Romanish, just Latina, sort of a pie, and it goes rebadis or rebado dabadi badafsamanak. He goes, okay, I guess I get it. He's like, it's 1700 sevens and then a 3 or something like that. He's like, okay, I get it. It says Calistiny. He's like, yes, you get it. But there's no eyes. There's no eyes. No, they do not use the letter I. They don't use I. He's like, no, they didn't have it. They had 2. The number 2, but it wasn't the number 2, it was the number 6. He's like, really? He's like, yes. And it wasn't the number 6, it's the number 222, and that's 6. He goes, okay, I understand, it's a different language. He's like, oh, I'm not quite sure you do, but we get it. We do understand a little bit now. You're new to New Orleans. Well, how about that? That is something I usually don't see. He's like, usually they're completely blind or they're completely in on it. I can't quite explain the situation I see right now. This is rare. And he goes, okay, well, you have all the time in the world to look at it now, I imagine. Can I recommend a book to you? He's like, yes. He's like, the book is called Lucusui. He's like, you can find it in the library or some occultist bookstore, which we have many of them in this city, which is terrible, but we see it. There's voodoo men and women around here. He's like, very well, I've seen some. He's like, yes, I see a way. I don't see a good way, but you understand that we are multicultural here. He's like, it biggins us. He's like, very well. He's like, yes, very well indeed. And they said, yes, okay. He's like, well, that will do. So he goes and finds this book and he rereads it a couple times. He goes, I know less now. How do I know less now? And he's thinking about these guys that were doing this thing. He goes, they weren't doing this. They were doing something different. He's like, I wonder what it's like now if they were this and they were that. He goes, I feel completely out to sea. Just like that, he realizes what the issue is. They taught him a Sherman's pie in school. And this is so that pie doesn't really appear, so you don't get distracted when you're doing law enforcement work. Because you're only supposed to see when he threatens you, when he says, stand up to me, when he says, get out of here, you it, and things like that. You're only supposed to see Q's and A marks. He says, I would have never seen someone that doesn't see I. what am I thinking of right now? He's like, I have to think of a new way to think about these things. And so he does. And he comes up with like a hooping 6I23 cipher with a wheel, and he goes, this is too extreme. I'll have to slim it down and rifleate it, which is a word they used in the era, which meant to improve. So this is what he plans on doing. He eventually gets a big murder case. This guy was murdered just off Bourbon Street, which is fairly regular, and they don't know who or how or what or why or anything. And he was viciously murdered. There's blood everywhere. His neck is ripped out like a werewolf or a dog got him or something. And he goes, yep, well, I'll investigate it to the best of my abilities and know-hows, like he always does. And so he figures, he'll just start sniffing around the area. He knocks on a couple doors. There's nothing. Eventually meets a woman, a voodoo woman. Her name is Lassiteria. And Lassiteria immediately speaks a language he doesn't recognize. He says, what way do you see? Because I can't comprehend it. He's like, oh, detective that sees. Ha ha ha. She goes, okay, it's the last codes of Liboli. He's like, what is? He's like, it's not Jamaican, it's anti-Jamaican, which is the way we see out in Haiti, which is not Haiti, but it's an island that basically sank. He goes, okay, I understand. He's like, how does it go in numbers? He's like, we don't have numbers, son. Don't you understand? We don't know numbers. We only know 8. It's 8. No matter what, it will be 8. He says, okay. So it's like a ratio, but it's only 8s. He figures out what she says pretty fast. I'm a hooligan. He's like, gosh, that's mean. She says, oh, I don't mean it. It's just how I see you. She's like, okay. So he goes, okay, well, you've been helpful. I'm sure that you understand that. We have a potluck at the sheriff's. I would love for you to come. I would love to introduce you to somebody I know. He says, as a boyfriend? And he goes, no, I find you very interesting. I would love for this man to meet you. Can you dress up? Do you have fine clothes to come to a ball? He's like, no, I'm quite shabby. He's like, you call me before it, and I will make sure the forester sees you fit for a fine ball if you would meet my fancy on this. He goes, you're a detective. How are you going to pay for me? He's like, this is nothing. Trust me. I'm not well-to-do, but this is kind of important to me. I don't do nothing sweet too often, but I see you. I think he would get a real big deal out of you. He would see a way. I see, and this is important to me. She goes, you know what, it's fine. My calendar's usually open. I only see 1 or 2 men. You know how I see it. And he goes, okay. He's like, are you interested in me this way? He's like, no, ma'am, I'm married. She goes, very well. I understand what you see. And that was it. He found the murderer. It was, in fact, a Kodiak bear someone kept in a basement nearby. And when the rains came, it had to come out. It was open and shut immediately because it was a man-eater, as they said. And it was open and shut as soon as the floods came. So, what happens next is the ball. At the ball, she comes, he sends her to the forester, he dresses up in really nice. She's actually the belle of the ball now because he paid to have her dressed up. And everyone knows that this is a shiner. You understand, a shiner. And his friend comes that he gave the $600 to from detective school. He's like, I would like you to meet this woman, this voodoo woman I met. It's like, I think you would get a real kick out of her. And so they're talking for like an hour. And he goes, okay, Laveau, I've had enough of you. You can return home if you're done with the sheriff's chaperoning now. She's like, I would like some more punch, and I'm going to steal some cake, and then I'll go. She's like, steal the whole cake. Take it right now. Go ahead. She's like, I may. He's like, pick that whole cake up, pour the juice. Let me get you a carafe or something in from the back. And he goes and gets like it's a cheap carafe. I can't explain it. It's not like a nice one. And he gives it to her. I want to say it's like rust tinned, which is something they had in the era, which was basically they throw them out. You understand? And then someone collects them, and this is how they hand out like water or something. So it was from the previous era, but they were still around. They were very kind of shabby, for a pitcher, basically, just a cheap pitcher. And he fills it with the punch, and he says, carry that. I don't know how you're going to carry all this. She says, oh, you will see a way. And she gets a box and puts it in the box, and she's carrying the box under her arm on a string, and she ties to it, and the pitcher in the other hand. Oh, just wait till my voodoo man says there's a good sheriff in town. You just wait. And she leaves. And he takes his friend over in the corner, starts to talk to him. He goes, did you see what she saw? He said, oh no, I didn't even, oh no. Did you know what they see? He's like, no, I don't know what they see. That's sort of the issue, but I know what she sees. Do you know what she sees? I want to test your brain power. He goes, no, I can't figure it out. He's like, she just sees hate. Well, she called me a who-snack commoditor. Well, of all the nerve. He's like, she don't mean it. That's just the way they talk down here. And she's right about it. They do see us that way. He goes, oh, jeez. That ain't no good. He's like, it's New Orleans. They tell me it's a whore, but I don't know what that means. And he told me the way they see it, and this isn't the way she sees. He's like, it's the Nice. Do you know the Nice? He's like, yeah, it's just like that, but there's a 2 in it. He's like, really? Castanestowaria. He's like, very close, very close. You almost banged it out the first try. He's like, we didn't see that when we were looking at him, and I think I know why. And he got it too, Sherman. He's like, yeah. What exactly am I missing? Now, I want to talk to you about that. I see her. I see this. I see those things. How come I don't know what those gentlemen even were up to? And he said, I don't know. That's weird. So he says, all right, well, I've had enough of you, except I want you to stay somewhere in town no one dares to stay at. I'm going to pay the bill for a year. You don't have to stay there the whole time. It is your place. You are a rough customer. You're in town to do some business on the kilo, and you run a little rum on the side, but no one sees. He's like, that's fine. Good. We're doing it. He's like, okay, good. He's like, I am off. How did you know I was off? He's like, I know you'd be off. They always said somebody off. That's why I came here. I didn't want to be off for an extended period. He's like, good. This is even better than I expected. We have a partnership now, dealer. And they called each other dealer at the time. He's like, very good. So what he does is he goes through this whole thing, right? And the guy's there for about 3 months. He's like, I got him. They go into the underground. It's the same group. He's like, they are the same group. He's like, I don't know what they see. I don't have a clue. He's like, I write it down and I try to read it, and I don't know what it is. Is it backwards? Is it upside down? I don't know any of these. How does it work? And so he's like, here, there's 13 pages of the things they see. The guy looks at it for like a day. He goes, I don't know. I wish they hadn't burned that old blue building with all the records down in it. I bet I could figure it out if I knew that. He goes, okay. He's like, that's why you came down here. He's like, yeah. And I didn't get the file for over a year. He's like, no. It's like they misfiled it. He's like, this place is creepy. He's like, yes, it is. He's like, this is a creepy voodoo town, but it ain't even the voodoo people. He goes, God damn it. Who is it then? He's like those guys we saw, I guess. I don't know who. He's like, Kodiak Bear ripped the man's throat out and nobody sees it. Don't make no sense. This place is strange. I'm just learning it. I feel like I'm inside of my own home sometimes, because my son, who's young, brings over people and they don't make no sense to me. He's like, oh, well, that's normal in big cities like this. He's like, yes, but I would assume I would see a way. He's like, yes. Oh, many parents do. He's like, oh, you've overstepped your bounds. He's like, you just said it. We're like his parents. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, they always a step ahead. He's like, okay, I know what to do. I know. I already outthought you. I know I would. He's like, okay. You come back here when you tell me you got it. Comes back in 3 or 4 days. He's like, the young Negroes knew what it was right away. I said one thing to him. He's like, you went to Crucible? And I said, no, I just heard someone say that. I thought I'd better repeating it. He's like, no, you shouldn't be saying nothing they say. They're bad. He's like, what do they see, man? He's like, it's all 11s, but they do it too. It don't make no sense to me, but I know what they see because sometimes they come around looking for this, that, and the other. And, well, we just kind of know. He goes, okay. It's all 11s except there's a 2. He's like, yeah. So he goes, okay. I get it. So he reads them all, and they're directing traffic. And you can't figure it out. He goes, you say there's a leak in the police department? He's like, yeah. He's like, this all looks like traffic directions. He's like, okay, I'll figure it out. He looks up who the traffic police are, and they're not listed. And then he realizes something. They got themselves unlisted. And he goes, I already know who it is. Just like that. He doesn't do nothing. He figures out who they were by checking old records, and he goes, they're who? And so he has a guy he knew from the policeman's school case him, because this is his literal job, is to do this thing. And this guy disappears. And he goes, God damn it, he got caught. He's in the underground somewhere. I gotta figure out where he is before Kodiak Bear gets him. So what he does is he finds the manhole he knows goes into the underworld, and in the middle of the night he goes into it. And he's down there for what they say is like a year. And when he comes back out, he's been fired and everything. His house is in Retro Crow. And he walks up to the judge and he says, this is everything I ever dreamed it would be. I'm so glad I came to New Orleans to be a police detective. And it's this well-written manuscript, and it remains in the House of Calms. And it's under DWE, and it describes everything in the New Orleans underworld and how it connects to 6 different underworlds in the United States, even in Seattle. He says, I see everything. And that, my man, is a book called Glooby. And Glooby is a very important book because it's like that other book, but they're not the same. Even the ciphers are similar, but they're not the same. And this is a problem someone has. They cannot break what this is. Whatever this is, they can't figure it out. There's something they don't see. And that's what it is, my man. The entire story of New Orleans, almost. Not essentially. But it is, in some way. I'm sorry if I said weird things the whole way. I imagine I might have. But that's, my apologies there. So anyways, I know what it is. The Jonah Skep manuscript from the Third Rocco, which is 80s, and it says all are tithed, and it isn't even in English. This isn't technically a language. It's called Blursty, and Blursty is a language not too many men speak, and it's hardly from around here, and that's what's going on. And that's why no one can decipher it. Because it's not really of this earth. And that, my man, is the issue. In the House of Calms, with Googie, with Glooby, and all the other doobies. Yes, it is. It is all interconnected. That's why no one can break it. Because there's someone they simply cannot see. That will remain hidden no matter what. And that's how it goes. And that's the story.